QESSE Ye Sanjan, or the story of Sanjan, basically follows the story of the Zoroastrians who migrated to India from Iran after the Arab conquest of Iran. The story follows the migration and how the Zoroastrians established themselves in the new land. According to Alan Williams, the narrative structure of QESSE Ye Sanjan is modeled on the threefold structure of the Zoroastrian cosmic history: creation, mixture, and separation. I agree with Alan Williams' analysis about the narrative structure of QESSE Ye Sanjan, because throughout the QESSE Ye Sanjan we see a repetition of cycles of creation, mixture, and separation. In verse 77, Zoroaster predicts to the Zoroastrian community the coming of oppressive kings, and he tells them that the Zoroastrian religion will be broken 3 times. Each time, a period of initial good is followed by a crisis. The crisis is the rule of one of the oppressive kings. The first oppressive king named is Alexander the Great. The oppressive rule is followed by a separation and a return to an initial state of good. The Arab invasion of Iran represents the main crisis. The Arab invasion causes Iran to go into ruin, and with this begins the long journey of the Zoroastrians to India. They travel to Kohistan, from there to Hormuz, and then Dios. And finally, after going through a harsh storm, they reach Gujarat, located in the mainland of India. This is the beginning of the period of separation, because the problems of the Zoroastrian community are resolved. They have escaped from persecution and are safely traversed through a storm. A Zoroastrian priest goes forth bearing gifts to meet the king of the land, known as Jadi Rana. The king asks the Zoroastrians to describe to him their beliefs and practices, and puts forth certain conditions, such as following local customs, in order to grant them the permission to settle in his land. The Zoroastrians agree to the conditions and are given refuge. They establish their own community and name their town Sanjan. The Zoroastrians also establish the Bahram fire, Iran Shah, in order to keep the vow they made to Bahram for a safe journey through the storm. Thus, another cycle of creation begins. For 700 years, the Zoroastrians prosper, and groups of Zoroastrians settle in different parts of Gujarat. The phase of peace and creation is interrupted by the phase of mixture, which begins with the order of the Sultan Mahmud Shah to the Muslim army to attack Sanjan. The Zoroastrians respond to the cry for military assistance from the king of Sanjan. In the first battle, the Hindus abandon the fight, and Zoroastrians, led by Ardashir, defeat the Muslims alone, after 3 days of fighting. In the second battle, the Muslims outnumbered the Zoroastrians and Hindus 100 to 1. Ardashir kills the champion of the Muslim army, enraging Ulu Khan to counterattack and kill Ardashir and the king of Sanjan along with their army. The period of mixture ends with the flight of Zoroastrians to the hills of Bharat, taking the fire Iran Shah along with them. There they live for 12 years and travel to Banzda, and another period of creation begins. Bahman says that this time felt as if spring had come to Banzda. They remain in Banzda for 14 years. Then the fire Iran Shah is moved from Banzda to Navsari, which becomes the final permanent house of the fire. As observed by Alan Williams, all events in QESSE Ye Sanjan go through the 3 phases of cosmic history: the initial state of peace and perfection, followed by a period of crisis, and then a final resolution. This theme is repeated throughout the whole narrative of QESSE Ye Sanjan. Periods of perfection are continuously followed by periods of hardship, which are then followed by a final liberation from the hardships, resulting in periods of peace and perfection again. QESSE Ye Sanjan begins with a state of perfection in Iran and ends with a state of perfection in India, as a continuous reminder to the Zoroastrian community of the cosmic history of Zoroastrianism, as well as a reminder of the final battle between Ahriman and Ormuzd and the final defeat of evil.